Hi, we're at the Grand Meridian Ballroom with FCA, and we have Director Jeff Middlestead. We're going to be talking on sports faith. Jeff, we want to talk a little bit about the ministry of FCA, and how did God bring you to this ministry, and what impact has it made in your life so far?
Well, I'll tell you what, God brought me into the ministry through the magazine, the FCA magazine that comes out every other month. I subscribed to it a couple years ago, get it and throw it away or put it on my desk, not read it. And then all of a sudden the Lord prompted me to read it one time that we were going on a trip to Chicago. I read it, and the idea of bringing sports and Christ together in a ministry was appealing to me. So I tried to find out what was going on in northeastern Wisconsin and went to the Wisconsin website, and there was nothing happening. So I contacted somebody and said, hey, you have a mistake. Your website's wrong. And they said, no, we don't have anybody in northeast Wisconsin. And then one thing led to another, and here I am. So I'll tell you, one of the things that's happened with the ministry is God is working in and through it, but he's working in and through me too. I mean, I've grown closer with him because of the ministry, and it's really been a treat. It's been a blessing.
Well, let's talk about that. What are some of the things that FCA does to impact youth for Christ?
Well, we have student-led Bible studies in the schools, and right now when I started, we had 6 certified huddles. We now have 15, so that's a blessing. And what happens is the kids will grow in their faith, will grow in their leadership skills, will grow in talking one-on-one with each other, and then hopefully grow with sharing their faith with their peers and having that influence on the kids that they go to school with.
Well, let's talk about that. Today, there are so many distractions that kids are facing. Why today, more than ever, do you see the importance of FCA in young people's lives?
I'm going to talk about that a little bit tonight, but I'll tell you what, if FCA was founded in 1954, and if there was value then for FCA, God blessed it, it's now in 60 international countries. If it was important back then, the Don McClannon, who started FCA, would, and he just passed away last year, would be saying it's more important today. Kids are distracted, sports have become idolized, and they've distanced themselves from Christ, and that's a bad situation. So what we're trying to do is, we love sports. Sports is a great avenue to grow and to become good citizens, but if it's going to be at the expense of Christ, then there's a problem. So we're trying to bring them both together and have that pedestal come where Christ is first, sports are second or third.
So let's talk about this event tonight. This event is it's a dinner, it's a banquet, it's getting people jazzed up about the ministry. How important are events like this? And what is the focus and the goal behind something like this?
I'll tell you what, the events like this are critical because since we're domestic missionaries, we have to raise our own funds. So this is really kind of a twofold goal, if you will. One is to share the awareness of FCA. FCA has been around for 60-plus years, but in northeast Wisconsin, it's kind of almost like we're starting from scratch. So it's interesting. It's a grassroots effort inside of a 60-year-old company. It's kind of interesting there. So the awareness piece is huge, but then the funding piece. I mean, hopefully we'll raise enough money here to continue the ministry and to give a foundation to the ministry, because we don't want to be here for 1 year or 2 years. We want to be here for 60 more years in northeastern Wisconsin, making impact on coaches and athletes.
Well, and your background was a direct path into ministry, obviously. Just kidding. Tell us a little bit about where God called you from and what led you to here.
I became a Christian in 2009, so I'm not 10 years as a follower of Christ. But early on, when he revealed himself to me, it became clear that there was some type of ministry. He needed to prune me, and he needed to mold me into what he wanted. And I was the classic good guy. I never got into fights or was in jail or anything like that, but I had a God-sized hole in my heart. Once he filled that, and once he started revealing himself more and more to me, ministry just seemed like it was the next step. I don't have a college education, so I wasn't going to be a pastor, a lead pastor. We thought about international missionaries, becoming an international missionary, and that just didn't line up with my wife. I have a 13-year-old son. So to be able to do really missionary work right here at home, that was the key. That was the blessing. So I think he was preparing me these last 9 years to be at FCA. He knew it. I just didn't know it.
And as a father and as a spiritual leader of your household, how has this ministry impacted your home life?
Well, I'll be honest, it's a struggle because finances, trying to build that foundation I was speaking about. So we've sacrificed financially. My wife is on board and she's being patient, and that's an awesome thing. So it's taught us to rely on Christ and to not really worry about those day-to-day things that a lot of people tend to worry about. The second blessing would be for my son. 13-year-old boy in this world, in those things that we're going to talk about tonight, the texting and the smartphones and all the things that come with that, to be able to show him the discipline that I have in reading the Bible every morning. He sees that. To talk about Christ, saying that we started a huddle at this school or that school, and he gets to hear those things. He may not get it right now. He may not ask a lot of questions, but I know he's listening, and I know God's working in his heart. So it's a cool thing to be a part of.
That's awesome. So, and we'll wrap this up because I know you got a big night with Dick Bennett and everything else speaking tonight. What message would you like to send people to who may be thinking, how can I get involved? How can they get involved with FCA and support your ministry?
Well, I'm going to talk about time, talents, and treasures. So time would be volunteering, maybe becoming on staff. We need an area representative badly. We need somebody that's going to do the day-to-day work of the ministry, whether it be in Green Bay or in Appleton or in Sheboygan. So we'd like to staff each of those cities. So that'd be the time. The talent would be, we're looking for board members, leadership board members, so people that could come on our board and help us to have a kingdom viewpoint of northeastern Wisconsin. And then the treasure piece, to come alongside and be a financial partner for the ministry. One of the cool things I've seen about people that have been blessing the ministry financially is not only is it a ministry opportunity to us for our blessing, but we've been able to minister to those that have given. And it's kind of a two-way street. So it's not just we're out there looking for money and saying thank you very much. It's a constant contact where we're saying, hey, do you need us to pray for you? Do you need some help? Do you need us to give you some resources? So it is a two-way street. So those three things, time, treasure, and talents.
Awesome. Well, Jeff, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to hearing you speak and hearing Dick Bennett speak tonight. Thank you so much for having us on Sports Faith, and God bless you and your ministry.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks.